another scrapbooking layout for you guys. This one is a single 12 by 12. Now I am scrapping a couple of photos of my eldest and my middle child, Taylor and Angela, and Ange was maybe a couple of weeks old, if that, and they were having a snuggle in front of the TV, and that's really all the photos are about. But they were important to me, and I wanted to make sure I created space in my scrapbook albums to get this memory put down. Now, what was my inspiration? Okay, so I wanted to use, obviously, the colours in the photos usually lead me down a path of whichever colour I'm going to use. What I do try and do for you guys is, especially when it comes to scrapbooking baby photos, because I like to give you something, a different direction, something else that you may not have thought of that would totally work with your kids' scrapbook photos. You know, they're baby photos. Now, as you see me putting in all this time and effort, it's coming together. I'm using my finger dobbers. I have listed out 10, 12 words that I think go well with the photos. You know, everything from adorable to jolly to, you know, all those loving sort of words. And I decided, I know what I want to do. I'm going to color these letters, and then I'm going to place them down, and I'm going to create like a word drop. Basically, that's what I had in my head. And now I went to all this effort. I did this. And it was about here that I realised that I'd cut the letters so finely. The font that I had chosen was so fine that it was starting to lift up bits and pieces of the American Crafts white textured cardstock. Now, that doesn't normally happen to me. I usually, 9 times out of 10, have no issue with it. So there's my words. So here's my theory. I'm like, you know what? I don't think those words are going to go down terribly well. So this is me at the moment. I'm just looking for placement. And here's where I go, you know what? I actually don't want the letters that I've cut out. I actually want to use this as a stencil to add the words to the page. So this is what I do. I know, look, there's probably easier ways to do this, but this is what happens with me. Sometimes I get set in a way and I'm going down a path and this is what I want to do. And then I look at it and go, you know what? I actually think this might work even better. And I'm so glad I gave it a go because I really like how it turned out. So I'm still using the same colours, except I didn't use sponge sugar because as I realised on the other part, so on the positive instead of the negative, what I realised was the sponge sugar was it was getting lost. It was too light. So I'm using a piece of Lemon Craft. It's from the lemon. Okay. I apologise if you hear me rummaging. I am looking to see if I can find the actual title of it. It's a Lemon Craft album. I'm opening a 13 by 13 inch plastic bag. Ready, set, go. Sorry. Okay. Now, the paper is called Wood Patterns. And it's a Lemon Craft paper, and it's really nice. I really like it. Now, what I decided to do is I wanted to tear the edges, but I wanted it to be still a pretty straight edge. So as hard as this was for my fingers, because my fingers didn't want to play the game today, I was much happier with that. And then look what I did. I didn't cut. I've ended up flipping the wood grain going horizontally instead of vertically. And I forgot to cut off the branding strip. So that's why I had to rip it an extra time. So it's okay. It's no big deal. Leave the bag alone. I'm so sorry. If you can hear that bag, that's just me. I'm fiddling. It is currently 6 minutes past 8. And, you know, whoops. Okay, so now this is what I'm backing behind the wood. So you can see this is literally the stencil I just used. I'm not wasting the cardstock, like I might as well use it. So here I am trying to figure out how I'm going to do this because I don't want to trash another colour. And there we go. Now this is sped up 4 times, guys. So you can see that I'm not normally that fast at inking anything, but it looks okay. Now, this particular one, I don't know why I sprayed that. I wanted blobs, but for some reason I sprayed it. So I had to dry it. See how the blobs look quite large and you get a nice negative effect from it? I really like that. But I wanted big blobbies. I don't normally do big blobbies, but that's what I decided to do today. Now, what else can I tell you? Oh, this is where I went around. Okay, so I'm very particular when it comes to splats and splashes and dots. Like if I want dots or something on my page, I will literally do this. I will get a paintbrush and literally put them where I want them, rather than just flicking and going willy-nilly. Sometimes, yeah, I'm just way too OCD for that. So, see, that looks really cool. Hey, those words, don't they look good? Like, I wouldn't have thought of doing it that way until I realized when I peeled it off, I just didn't like the letters on their own. I think that looks really good. Just saying. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you think. Would you do that? Is that something you would do? Okay, so I did take this over to my sewing machine. I have explained before, I cannot record when I'm doing sewing because my camera is an above head camera and it is mounted to my wall and I can't move it, and which is fantastic because it never goes anywhere. But I can't record me sewing. But I just went across horizontal. I followed the grain of the wood and I did some zigzag stitches just for a bit more texture. I wasn't too worried about the texture because bam, check these babies out. These are stunning. I don't know if you have been with me for a little while, you will know that I have done this before with what was it that I used? Oh, they were the lace doilies, and I colored them, and I figured out how to color them. Now I jumped on the Uniquely Creative website and I grabbed a couple more packets of different shapes, so I got the florals. These are called Uniquely Creative Mixed Lace Flowers, and there is a number. I will have all that in the description. Don't go worrying about a piece of paper. You can come back to it. So what I wanted to do is I actually wanted to create a diagonal so your eyes follow the flowers, and it's sort of like the flowers are going through the photos, if that makes sense. That's what I had in my head. You judge me on whether I did or didn't achieve it. I think it looks good in the end. Now, this took a little bit of fiddling, so I am being a little bit fiddly and fussy here, but that's because I know once I get these in the right spot, they have to stay there, because I don't know about you, I can never put something down, audition it in the right spot, and then sweep it off to the side and bring it back in the same way. It never works. I don't know why. It does my head in, but it's okay. Now, stick with me. These flowers do not stay white, and I'm about to show you how I've learnt I can colour these flowers. Okay, so I'm just waiting because I raise up the photos on some craft foam. I get that from Spotlight, and it does have adhesive on one side. I will be honest with you, next time I buy craft foam, I'm just going to buy the foam because it's just as easy to put glue on the back of it. It doesn't, that's just my opinion. I use art glitter glue, and that stuff holds, I swear, almost anything I would ever want to add to a page. That stuff holds it down, and it's never going anywhere. So, and the good thing about art glitter glue, which is something I have been meaning to tell you guys, it remains flexible. So even once it's dried, it remains flexible. So that's the reason why I use it in my albums when I make mini albums. Okay, so what you can see me doing here is making up some gum arabic. Now, gum arabic, I bought mine from Amazon AU. It was not very expensive, but what that does, it's actually food safe. So you may or may not have seen it in other forms of application. I jumped on Amazon. I'm showing you my little spoons. They are the cutest little things. I've been looking for a little tiny scoop. Now, I bought these from Amazon AU, and they were $14 for, I think there's like 100 little spoons, which of course you don't throw them out. You just keep using them. They're the cutest little spoons, and I just turned it around and mixed the gum arabic with the other end of the spoon, and it stirred it up perfectly. These are the cutest little things ever. It's so awesome. So what I've done is I've mixed the gum arabic. So I pretty much do a 50-50, maybe 60-40 ratio with the gum arabic, right? And you make it so it's slightly viscous, but it's light. It essentially, once you add the mica powder to it, and if it's a bit thick, just add 1 drop of water. That's all you need, is 1 teeny tiny drop, and it loosens it back up again. But when it dries, the gum arabic is the sticky element that keeps the mica powder stuck to whatever you're painting it onto. So in this case, I've gone to my tub of mica powders, and I've pulled out, they don't have names on them, but I grabbed a coral looking one and a sort of magenta looking mica powder, and a very light pink that's very, very reflective. So what I decided to do was just glue down my flowers, and then very, very gently and very slowly, so this is in fast forward, remember, I didn't want to paint the page, I just wanted to paint the flowers, and they look awesome. They turned out beautiful. Now, the mica powder is there permanently because of the gum arabic, and that is how you can literally make any mica powder you have into a paint, and it will stay on there. If you wet it, it will probably reactivate. That's my guess. Now, if you watch me here, see how I just put 1 drop of water there? Now, it's got the gum arabic. See how I made it a lot more fluid? It's got the gum arabic in it. So you don't need much of that to get the mica powder to stick. So I probably put too much of it in, but I'd rather have a little bit too much than have glitter everywhere in my albums, you know, or have the mica powder rubbing off in my albums. I do put page protectors on them, but not until after I've done a layout share of what I've accomplished in the last however long. So yeah, so I ended up actually being able to blend these colors quite well. They seem to, because it essentially it works exactly the same as a water paint. But what I'm doing is I've done the darker color. I started off doing the light color, adding the dark color. But what I ended up doing was swapping that around and doing the dark and adding the light bubblegum pink. So see how it's just going on top and sitting on top, and it just gives you that extra bit of shimmer. And I love, love, love. Now, I've used the whole packet on this one page. Now, you may not want to do that with your supplies. You may be like I've been for years and come across an amazing thing and then you want to hoard it. I have realized, especially with this channel, that if I want to inspire you guys, I want to inspire you tenfold. I want you may not have the quantity of pages that I do, and that's because I'm recording them. But I want to inspire you enough that if you see these flowers, Australian, I think they were like $6. They were not much. $6, maybe $7. And I loved it. I absolutely loved how it came out. So then, because I had silver in the middle of my flowers, it's not silver, but it's reflecting as silver. It's, when you look at it closely, you can tell that it's like a baby pink, but it's throwing quite silver. So I ended up pulling out my silver paint pen, and what I decided to do was just do in between my letters, you know, where you would normally have a punch out or whatever, just to sort of lighten it up a little bit. And then what I did end up doing, just to tie it across, now you can't read what I just wrote there because of the way it's, the angle that it's on, but anyone looking in the album directly can read it. So all I'm doing here is just putting a few little dots, just like sprinkles, I suppose you'd call it. And I absolutely love how this turned out. I was procrastinating. I was thinking, do I do more? Stop. Walk away. So if you are not already subscribed to my channel, I would love to have you as a subscriber. I would love a thumbs up. I would love to know what your favorite collection is that you like to use, or what paper collection would you like to see me try and do something with. I know I do a lot of things from scratch myself, but that's just a phase I'm going through at the moment. Who am I kidding? That's how I love to scrap. So yeah, let me know if there's anything you want to see, or if you like it. If you don't like it, leave a comment. I've got broad shoulders. I can handle it. And yeah, so they're just little glue backed pearls that I popped in the center of the flowers. I thought I'd go nice and slow for you. Thank you so much for watching. I truly, truly appreciate each and every one of you watching my channel, and I will chat to you soon. Thanks so much, guys. Bye for now.